Slaves, obey your earthly masters with deep respect and fear. Serve them sincerely as you would serve Christ. Christians who are slaves should give their masters full respect so that the name of God and his teachings will not be shamed. In a parable in Luke 12, Jesus talks about a slave who knows the master's will and does not do what the master wants, stating that he will be beaten with many blows. Look, if slavery is so wrong, Jesus had every chance to stop it, to speak out against it, but he did not. Slavery occurred during the time of Jesus. Slavery continued after Jesus. It wasn't until nearly 2,000 years later that we put an end to it. But guess what never changed? The Bible. The words in the book were the same 1,500 years ago as they are today. And that's why when you hear idiots like the good reverends from the beginning of this video say what they did, you can't deny that they were at least backing up their terrible claims with chapter and verse. So what changed from then until now? It wasn't the Bible. Those verses in both the Old and New Testaments are now ignored by even their followers.
Bible stories they conveniently forgot to teach you in Sunday school. It's time for our bloodthirsty Bible. If there's one pesky question that has bothered mankind, it's how hard can I beat my slave? We know the question has probably bothered you too. Fortunately, God addressed the subject in Exodus chapter 21. Verse 20 says that beating your slave with a rod until they die is bad. Aren't we happy that God helped to clear that up? However, according to God's law, if you beat your slave and the slave is physically able to get back up after a couple of days, that's perfectly fine because, after all, the slave is the property of the master. You can do what you want. You didn't kill him, he's fine. And what's the use of being a master if you can't smack some people around from time to time? Say, ever notice how the Bible and other holy books kind of sound like they were written by Ike Turner? So remember, the next time you turn the other cheek, get ready to have it mauled, stoned, burned, punctured, sliced off, or cursed with leprosy. It's not just a threat. It's right there in black and white in our blood.
But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
When one sees the way the Prophet ﷺ used to treat the slaves and the captives, again, you will become speechless. The Prophet ﷺ did not leave anyone outside of his compassion and mercy. Here is Bilal radiallahu anhu, and I am so proud to be named after Bilal, an Ethiopian slave who used to exist at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Insignificant man, meaning towards the tribes. And he was a slave with Umayyah. Umayyah la'natullahi alayh. Bilal radiallahu anhu, when he embraced Islam in secret, Umayyah found out his Lord, the one who bought him, the one who had him and owned him. He said, I own your soul, I own your wealth, I own everything that you say. You are not allowed to become a Muslim. He said, there is only one God. So Umayyah brought him in the scorching sand and placed him in the middle of the desert and placed a stone over his chest. The sand over there in Saudi Arabia, in Mecca, the sand is more than 60 degrees Celsius. It'll burn you back easily. It'll peel off your skin. And then with a stone so heavy, so large that needs 4 men to carry it, was placed on his chest. And then he was whipped, saying, say that our idols are the best. And he would say, Ahadun Ahad, Ahadun Ahad. There's only one God, there's only one God. Suddenly, as he was almost about to kill Bilal radiallahu anhu, a man by the name of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, Habibi Abu Bakr, he arrived and he said, the messenger has sent me, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I will buy this man off you, Ya Umayyah. How much do you want for him? Name the price. And Umayyah said to him, I'll give him a bit of a high price. He said, I want 10 golden dinars. Everyone laughed around him. Suddenly he threw the sack in front of him. 10 golden dinars, 10 golden dinars. Umayyah looked up and he said, what a fool you are. You think that you've accomplished something here? I would have asked 2 dinars for this worthless person. He's worth nothing. You just bought a worthless person for 10 dinars. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, who was being taught by the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I would have paid 100 dinars for him. I would have paid 100. And Umayyah was darkened in his face and thought, damn, I could have made another 90 golden dinars. Slaves are valuable in Islam. And the first people who followed the Prophet ﷺ were the slaves and servants and the weak. Then the leaders followed, such as Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah, Umar radiallahu anhu, and the rest. The Prophet ﷺ used to promise great rewards in paradise for people who bought slaves and set them free, or bought women slaves and set them free and then have the choice of marrying them or letting them free. The Prophet ﷺ used to say, Wail, meaning a place in hellfire. Wail to those who harm their servants. Hit them, bash them. And he said, every servant must be fed from the food that you feed your family with. Must be given shelter and comfort. Must be allowed to do these things. So much so that one time Abu Dharr radiallahu anhu, Abu Dharr made a mistake one time. His servant, he had a servant, and he did something wrong. So Abu Dharr slapped him across the face. Suddenly Abu Dharr heard a voice from behind him. A voice saying to him, أَلَا تَتَّقِ النَّارَ بِهَذَا الضَّعِيفِ? Do you not fear the hellfire because of this weak person in front of you? Abu Dharr looked back, wanting to answer back, and he found the Prophet ﷺ before him. It was the Messenger ﷺ. And he said to him, Ya Rasulullah, he is for free for the sake of Allah. I've set him free. The Prophet ﷺ said, if you did not set him free, Allah would have punished you in the fire. Subhanallah. Which religion in the world or ideology or system, I ask you in the name of Allah, which system in the world has this mercy and this sensitivity to even the slaves like that? Who? Which religion? Not one. Islam honored them and lifted them until Bilal radiallahu anhu was the caller to the adhan which we call today.
Gustave Le Bon, a famous non-Muslim social psychologist, says in his book called Arab Civilization, what I sincerely believe is that slavery among the Muslims is better than slavery among any other people, and that the situation of slaves in the East is better than that of servants in Europe, and that slaves in the East are part of the family. Slaves who wanted to be free could attain freedom by expressing this wish, but despite that, they did not resort to exercising this right.
Jacob, we can stop this!
Stop now, we lose more men. There's no stopping this, Ghislaine. We can outflank them.
There are women and children in there,
And
Jacob.
they won't be harmed.
They will be harmed.
We end this today. With me!
Your Highness, with Allah's help, we may still prevail.
The time for false hope is over. There is one final request I must make of you, my friend.
Haven't you had enough of this? Killing for hypocrite priests?
We do God's work.
The blood we spill here is on our blades, our souls, not God's. We don't have to do this anymore. We can just go.
Go where?
East.